This is an NBC News special report. Here's Lester Holt.
Good day. We're back on the air with our continuing coverage of the horrible tragedy at an elementary school in Connecticut today, Fairfield County, Connecticut, where 20 children were shot dead along with 6 adults at that school by a lone shooter armed with 2 handguns. Another person, an apparent relative of the shooter, was also found dead at another location, and the shooter himself is dead at the scene. We're expecting another news conference in a moment to update us on where things stand. But right now, let's go to NBC's Pete Williams, our justice correspondent in our Washington newsroom, with the very latest on the shooter. Pete?
Lester, authorities have now identified him as Adam Lanza, 20 years old. Adam Lanza. They say that it's his mother who was the kindergarten teacher at the school. She was shot today in the school shooting. And they also say that another person, a woman, was found shot to death at the home where Adam Lanza was living, also in Newtown, Connecticut. The governor of Connecticut said earlier today that it was the house where he was living, and we're told by federal authorities that there was a woman in that house that is the shooting victim. Now, earlier today, Lester, many law enforcement officials had identified the gunman here as Adam Lanza's brother, Ryan. And we believe that the reason for that is several officials have told us that the gunman was carrying Ryan Lanza's ID on him when the shooting happened. Ryan Lanza, we're told, has told law enforcement officials he was taken in for questioning to learn more about this. Officials tell us that he's told law enforcement officials that his brother Adam is someone who has mental health issues. So that's what we know. We still don't know precisely where and when the guns were obtained or where and when the plan to do this was hatched. We're told that when the shooter went into the school today, he was dressed all in black, had 4 guns in all, took 4 guns to the school, left 2 of them in the car, carried into the school 2 handguns, widely available models of 9mm pistols that he carried in, and fired what authorities say were hundreds of rounds, which had such a devastating effect, killing 20 children, 18 who died at the scene, 2 others who died at a hospital, and then a number of other adults, including the shooter himself, were killed, and then this other person in the house at Newtown. Lester.
All right, Pete Williams, thanks. Let's bring in Clint Van Sant, who is an NBC analyst, former FBI profiler. Clint, will they be able to work backwards now and try to see the warning signs and really create a picture of what led up to all this?
Well, you know, Lester, we always do this. We try to conduct what's known as a psychological autopsy. We try to take from the shooting scene today and go backwards. Now, as Pete Williams just reported, once again, we're told that this particular shooter, for example, had some type of mental health issue. Well, mental health is a problem in America, but few people with mental health challenges pick up a gun and go forward like this. So the challenge for law enforcement is trying to back up and say, who knew about the challenges that this shooter may have had? But Lester, when you commit an act of matricide, in this case, killing one's own mother, you're really capable psychologically of doing just about any terrible act. And we have seen, you know, 2 of the most terrible things we can think of in this country: killing your own mother and killing these young, innocent children, notwithstanding their teachers. This individual impact on everyone. And the challenge is going to be, Lester, when we go to look at why he killed his own mother. We don't know the reason for that, and I'm not going to speculate. But what I can suggest is when he went to this school and when he committed this terrible act against his mother, these young children who sat at her feet when she was their teacher, they benefited from her. She was part of them. They were part of her. And when this individual, her son, killed her, and when she killed these children, he continued, I'm afraid, to kill part of his mother.
Clint Van Sant, thanks. And we should note that the families, the parents of the children who were killed, were gathered at a local firehouse. The governor was among those who met and tried to comfort Other parents arrived at the scene and were able to carry away the surviving children to safety. And you saw some of those gripping images we've been looking at throughout the day of the situation. We also know that, according to police, the shootings took place in one specific area of the school involving 2 rooms, including this kindergarten class where the mother of the shooter was apparently teaching. Police say that when they arrived there after that 9:30 911 call, that they immediately went in and began securing the area, moving kids to safety and moving administrators to safety, and getting a handle on the situation. They have not disclosed the cause of death of the shooter. Perhaps we'll hear that in this upcoming news conference from Connecticut authorities. One of the questions still to be answered here, along with the firm identity of the shooter himself. They're also, of course, Pete, I know, trying to talk to people around him. Are they taking others into custody or questioning other acquaintances of the shooter?
Yes, questioned his brother, we're told, and 2 people also who apparently knew him in New Jersey were picked up for questioning this afternoon as they try to piece together, what this was all about. And, Lester, I'm sure some people will wonder if this young man had mental problems, how was he able to get his hands on guns? And, of course, we learned this lesson in the Virginia Tech shooting. Under the federal law, the only thing that would disqualify you in this category from buying a gun is if you were judged. Adjudged, I believe, is the word that's used in the statute, mentally defective. That means that there has to be some sort of court proceeding or formal declaration. If you just have medical problems or you're seeking treatment, that would not be disqualifying for buying a firearm. But they're still trying to trace how Adam Lanza got his hands on these 4 guns, including the 2 that were used in the school. We don't yet know whether he obtained them legally or not. And then, of course, as Clint points out, the mere fact that someone has mental problems does not necessarily mean they're going to do something like this.
The other crime scene being the house. Was his family's house? Whose house was it?
We're told it's the house where he was living with someone. That was the formal statement from the governor and the police, state police, about an hour ago. We've separately been told that it was a woman who lived in that house, but what the precise relationship was, we don't yet know. But
there's still the New Jersey connection as well.
The New Jersey collection, Lester, appears to be people who were detained for questioning as the authorities were casting a wide net to try to figure out more about this young man's background. Earlier in the day, we'd been told that there was a shooting victim in New Jersey, but that turned out not to be the case. The only other shooting victim that we know of, other than those in the school, was this woman in Newtown, Connecticut, not far from the school.